Hello, all my friends. I hope you're having a fabulous day. Thank you for watching. And if you have not, please smash the subscribe, click on the like, click on the bell, and tell your friends that I have some good tidbits. Today's video is a result of tons of posts that I have been reading online, mostly on the Facebook group that I belong to, the Over 50 e-bikers. And it deals with people asking what kind of e-bike they should buy. And there are some really good posts with good advice and information, but there's so many more posts with people saying things that aren't right, just pushing to one specific bike, and just giving advice without knowing anything about the person who's asking the question. So it's kind of like going to the doctor and say, "Doctor, what medicine should I take?" Well, he's not going to tell you penicillin till he finds out what your illness is. And it's no different than this e-bike. If you're going to give advice to somebody, you need to ask them the proper questions. Otherwise, you're just talking crap. And anyway, I was like, oh my God, I can't take it. I'm going to make a video. Now, I'm a newbie. I've only had my e-bike since September of 2023. And there it is right there. Roxanne with ET. And then there's the box. Save the box. Save the box. When you get an e-bike, save the box in case you have to send it back. I'm a newbie. But I've been watching e-bikes since 2019. I've seen in that short period the evolution of how they've changed. And in September 2023, I had lost over 100 pounds and I was ready to buy my e-bike. In the beginning of 2023, I knew I was going to get a bike, and that's when I did the most in-depth research on specific brands ready to pull the trigger. But I started my weight loss journey and I've lost over 125 pounds. And when I knew that I was almost to that point, that's when I decided to get an e-bike because so many more options were available when I was at a lower weight than when I was heavy. So am I a newbie? Yes. But do I know a little bit about bikes? Yes. And I'm going to tell you the criteria that I used that will at least get you started so that if you're looking for a bike, watch a bunch of different reviews. People have agendas. People get paid for bikes. I did a video where there's an affiliate link, but I told people right up front, and I'm not pushing that bike. I don't care what bike you buy. I'm going to give you tips and suggestions to help you get started. And there's so many things to know. I've actually made up a whiteboard. And I'm going to read off my whiteboard and hit the points, and I'm going to put this in the video to help you. And what I'm going to tell you, is it going to be the exhaustive list? No. But is it going to be enough to get you started? Yes. And then I'm going to tell you, check out multiple videos of different bikes. Two of the best sites that have a bunch of different bikes that give honest reviews. I'm going to put their information in Citizen Cycle because I watched almost every one of his videos before I bought my Roxy, my fabulous bike, because he did a bunch of reviews comparing this to the Wired. And because of his reviews, I bought the fabulous Road Warrior, and I love it. So I'm going to tell you Citizen Cycle and Maximum Charge EV. They both do great, honest reviews of different bikes. Citizen Cycle has been around much, much longer with his channel, so he's done so many more. But anyway, let me put my camera down and pick up my whiteboard, and we're going to get started. All right. The first most important consideration is your budget. Right now, there's so many sales. You can get a bike, an okay bike for under $1,000, but you could spend several thousand. My Roxy, I got a veteran discount. It cost me $2,600. Free shipping, no taxes. I have another bike coming that was under 2,000. I've looked at other bikes that were 4,000. You can get a variety. So number one is your budget, how much you're going to spend. And once you come up with that, that's going to knock out a whole bunch of bikes if say your budget's 1,500. The next thing is you need to consider yourself, your mobility issues. So I have bad knees, but since I've lost my weight, they don't hurt me as much. So I got a step over bike. If you can't raise your leg up, if you have hip issues, bad knee issues, you might need a step through. A step through has an open design in front of the seat, so you step in front of the seat and then you can get up. So mobility, what can you do physically? E-bikes are heavy. My bike with all the baskets weighs almost 100 pounds. Most e-bikes, 70, 80 pounds, upwards to 100, some over 100, some under 60. It all depends. So you have to also think about your own physical capabilities, not only for maneuvering the bike, because it's different than a regular bike, but for hauling the bike. I didn't think about hauling the bike when I bought my Roxanne. And so it took me 4 attempts to get a bike rack that I felt was really good, that wasn't crazy money. And I made a video about that, about all my trials and tribulations, because I never considered the weight of the bike. So that's another consideration. And then hand in hand with your mobility is the bike size, and again, the bike style. Step over, like my Roxanne with the seat, or step through. And 26-inch tires, which my Roxanne is, or 20-inch tires. So you need to consider your height and your inseam. I'm 6 foot with a 32-inch inseam. My 26-inch Roxy is perfect for me. Citizen Cycle, when he does his videos, his wife is 5'3". He always has her on the bikes so that you can see whether they would work if you're in that height range. So think about your height and your inseam, because if you're a shorter person, right off the bat, you probably will knock 26-inch tires off. If you have mobility issues, right off the bat, you will knock out step overs, and you will just be thinking about step throughs. So between the budget and your mobility issues and your physical conditions, you've already narrowed the styles and in some cases the manufacturers of what you want to buy. The other thing and these are, I kind of think in the order of importance: budget, your physical abilities, the size of the bike, 26 or 20-inch tires, and then where are you going to ride? I ride pretty much all on paved surfaces, groomed trails, roads, bike trails. I might ride through a field just because, but I don't do any off-roading. And so what is the significance of that? My bike does not have a rear suspension. It came with a suspension post, but I took it off because I didn't need it. If you're going to pretty much do road riding, groomed trail riding, you probably do not need a rear suspension. And so that will save you money, and it will also help you with your weeding of selections. If you're going to be doing more trails, off-roading and roughness, you should get a rear suspension. And almost all bikes come with a front suspension. If you see a bike that doesn't have a front suspension, don't buy it, because even on the road, a front suspension is nice for the little bumps. So if you're going to be doing what most e-bikers do, which is roads, groomed trails, you probably don't need a rear suspension. The next thing is, besides where you're going to ride, it's going to be how far you're going to ride. So if you're going to just be riding, say, 10, 15 miles a day, you don't need a humongous battery. You could probably get away with a 15 amp battery. Most e-bikes now come in with 15, 17 amp. My Roxy came with a 25 amp. It's big because I planned on riding fast and riding long distances. I've gone 55 miles on that bike, pedaling mostly, and it's because of the size of the battery. Why is that important? Okay, the bigger the battery, the higher the bike cost typically. So if you're not going to be doing long distance riding, you don't necessarily need to look for a bike with a big battery nor a dual battery setup. If you're going to be doing a lot of riding, you want to look for a bike that comes with a higher amp hour AH rating. And if it doesn't have dual batteries, don't worry, because most bikes you can add dual batteries to one way or the other. There's tons of help videos for that. So how far are you going to ride? And then how fast do you want to go? So if you're content with 28 miles an hour, you could get away with a 48 volt bike. 48 volt bikes now are very plentiful, and they're going to be mostly your best deals. The higher the voltage, the faster you will go. My Roxy is a 60 volt bike, and it goes above 40 miles an hour. 48, 52 volt are becoming more common. 48 are the most common and the cheaper bikes. 48 and 52 volts, very similar in speed. And the most important thing between those two voltages is the amp hour, the size of the battery. How far are you going to go? Then the next thing is, what kind of throttle do you want? They have thumb throttles and they have grip throttles. My Roxanne has a grip throttle, which I like. Thumb throttles are on the left-hand side. Grip throttles on the right-hand side. Whatever you get, if you've never done it before, you will get used to it. Now, there may come a time where you're like, I really don't like it. It's always possible to change, but my intuition tells me that you will get used to it. Like if I would have bought a thumb throttle for whatever reason, I would get used to it like anything else. The next thing is cadence sensor or cadence sensor, torque sensor. That is how the pedals interact with the motor. Simplistic explanation, cadence sensor. As soon as you turn the pedals, the motor kicks in and the motor keeps going as you're pedaling, unless you're using a throttle. Torque sensor, it's more like a traditional bicycle. The motor starts kicking in as soon as you start the pedals, but the harder you press and move on the pedals, the harder and faster the motor works. So if you want a more traditional bike feel and workout, torque sensor. Most bikes come with a cadence sensor, more and more come with a torque sensor. And then gears and the type of shifter. Most bikes come with, bottom line, Shimano Tourney 7-speed gears. If you're just doing road riding, 100% fine. Some of them come with Altus 8-speed gears. That's what my Roxy came with. 8-speed, I liked it because you get the extra gear, and I like to pedal, and I wanted to go fast. And it comes with a trigger shifter. A trigger shifter is on the handlebar, and you push it, tick, click, click. The Tourney shifters come with a press button on the top. Either way, if you're doing road riding, either one will be fine, and you will get used to whatever you have. Now, I've seen some posts say, don't get a trigger shifter if you have a grip throttle because it won't work. Hogwash. I had no issues. I've never ridden an e-bike before until September when I bought this. I had no issues whatsoever with the trigger shifter and the grip throttle. So when people say these absolutes, it is not true. Not true. There are no absolutes in life. There are no absolutes in life, and there are no perfect e-bikes for anybody. If you could build the perfect e-bike, it would be very expensive. So those are the biggest things. And the biggest thing is budget, your physical condition, what size bike. Some bikes come with different size frames. Juiced bikes, they've been around for over a decade. Good bike builders. You don't hear a lot about them, but they build good bikes. They've been around forever. Hell, most of their bikes, you can get a small frame, a medium frame, or a large frame. There's so many new bike builders now, you do not get a choice. It's one size fits all. And why is that? So they can have quick production and then churning them out. Bop, 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 bop. So if you want to have more variety, find a bike seller, bike builder that has sized frames. Even if it's a medium or large or a small, large or whatever, there are other bike builders besides Juice that have different size frames. So once you get an eye, I tell people, when people ask me, I say, take these items, write it down, think about the different topics, research torque sensor, cadence sensor, gears, step through, step over, and then think about what you really like, and then start looking online. And then you can ask people for their opinions, but don't take their opinions as gospel, because they don't know you and people have agendas. I started my YouTube channel because I fell in love with e-biking, and I had to spread the word about how incredible it is, how life-changing it is in a positive way. And I started this YouTube channel. Am I an influencer? No. I'm an attorney and a real estate agent. I've been an attorney for over 31 years. Why? Because I wanted to help people. I do consumer protection law. I help injured people. I want to help people. Why? I've been a realtor for over 21 years. Why? Because I like to help people. And so the YouTube channel that I created was to help people. And this video is to help people. And the more and more posts that I read, I think my YouTube channel is going to go from also helping people to calling people out who have agendas, who tell half-truths, or talk about absolutes. There are no absolutes. You have to find out what's best for you. And you, like for an e-bike, you have to think about, these are objective facts that nobody can argue with. So I hope you got something out of it. Like I said, I created my YouTube channel to help people. It's only been in existence for about 2.5 months, 3 months. I've had over 24 people contact me through email, text. They've called me now. They've commented, telling me thank you for the advice I give them with bikes, with real estate, and legal tips. And they've asked me questions, and that's the purpose of this video, and that's going to be probably the focus of every single one of my videos, is to try to help people. And all those people who've contacted me have kind of vindicated what I started with this YouTube channel. It's not about to make money, it's about to help people. And like I said, I just had to make this video because I've seen so much garbage online. So anyway, that's my video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. You can text me, you can comment, you can email me. I will be happy to answer any questions. Like I said, I am an e-bike newbie. I made some newbie videos about how I put flat out in, how I changed brake pads. I am a newbie trying to help other newbies, trying to help consumers not get screwed. So anyway, smash the subscribe, click on the like, click on the bell, tell your friends. Thank you very much. I love you all. See ya!